This afternoon, as we celebrate Jimmy Savile's Requiem Mass, it is our belief that although his body is stilled in death, his flamboyant and generous soul lives on.
Picture this. It's the 3rd of October 2012, and the mask of Jimmy Savile has removed to show a sick pedophile who targeted both children and elderly people. A man covered by the veil of power by the BBC. After the exposing of Savile and his sexual abuse, other celebrities were exposed for heinous acts against children and people in general. Glitter, Rolf Harris, Stuart Hall and Max Clifford are the most notable examples. Most of those exposed have either died, are still imprisoned or living freely, but there is a subgenre of British predators that have long since been forgotten after their criminal acts, and this video delves into those. If you were a teenager in the 1970s, you have most definitely heard of the Bay City Rollers. They were massive. They bagged tons of hits, some even multi-million selling. Hits included Bye Bye Birdie, Saturday Night, and I Only Wanna Be With You. They had reached heights not seen since Elvis and the Beatles. Stadiums were chock-a-block with rabid, screaming teenage girls who adored the charming young lads in kilts. It was the Scots' own Beatmania. They had charm, charisma, and the youthfulness some major acts of the time severely lacked or tried horribly. They have sold over 70 million records, but estimates raise it to 100 to 200 million, on par with acts like AC/DC and the Rolling Stones, all formed in a cauldron of easy respect and flowing money alongside a strong fanbase. Their frontman Les McCown oozed joyous aura even after the split of the band in the late 1970s. However, a dark side loomed heavily over the band. Like every other band, they had a manager, a fellow Scotsman named Ham Payton. He initially began as a truck driver to financially support the band before he rose to become their manager. He also managed the less successful band Rosetta Stone, with which he was romantically involved with the band's frontman. He managed a multi-million-pound real estate business in Scotland. The man was dirt rich. Nothing could go wrong, right? Managed Scotland's most successful band, owns a multi-million-pound real estate deal. Well, that was until 1982. His career collapsed like a Jenga tower when he was arrested for sexual abuse allegations. The allegations revealed that he had abused 10 boys over 3 years. He was released at an unknown date and was free for 21 years. He was a free man until January 2003. He was rearrested on child sex abuse allegations around the time when Jonathan King, a fellow music mogul who was convicted for child sex abuse, they both visited a child sex abuse hotspot named the Walton Hop Disco during the 70s and 80s. Although arrested for the allegations, he was later cleared of the charges put against his name. He was rearrested in April 2004 for possession and supply of cannabis. He was fined £200,000 in 2016. Les McCown accused Payton of rape. He died on the 8th of April 2008 at age 70 of a suspected heart attack. In October 2022, a man named John Wilson was convicted for abusing children at Payton's address alongside Payton. The Olympics are a staple for everyone, both summertime and wintertime. Viewers flock to their televisions to tune into the sheer talent of the athletes. With an event with a history so bloody ancient, it's obvious that some will be evil. Here, this next case is one of 2 pedophiles based around swimming in the Olympics for the Great Britain team. Brian Phelps began winning swimming championships since being a mere teenager. At just 14 years old, he won a gold medal at the 1958 European Championship in Budapest, Hungary, and then at the 1962 European Championship in Belgrade, modern-day Serbia. 2 years prior to his second win, he competed in the 1960 Rome Olympics, where he snagged a bronze trophy. He continued the seemingly never-ending trophy-winning streak during the Commonwealth Games, where he snagged a further 4 gold medals. And then he achieved double gold at the 1964 Olympics. Eventually, he retired from diving and retired to France, where he decided that sports commentary was his next path. He started to commentate for Eurosport. His career came crashing down like a bull in a china shop when he was remanded in custody at Bournemouth Magistrates' Court for rape, attempted rape, and 19 counts of indecent assault against young girls, which took place between 1976 and 1986. By the 6th of February 2008, He was charged with 6 further indecent assaults and 1 count of gross indecency, with these new accusations dating between 1975 and 1980. He appeared in court yet again the following month on the 25th of March 2008. He was then sentenced to 9 years in prison, but as we know by now, the British legal system has been fucked for donkey's years now. He was released on licence just 6 years into his sentence, being released in or around 2014. Further allegations followed in 2023, where 12 further allegations were levied against his name. He is currently 81 years old. Like a flu, you can never escape him. This next entry was basically Savile's pet dog, his grommet if you shall. Oh, and his face is fucking ugly, so beware. Before fame, Ray Terrett was a nobody. He was merely just a warehouse clerk, an apprentice heating engineer, and a waiter at the Ritz Ballroom in Manchester. His career didn't start like Savile's or Stuart Hall, where they shot into fame. In fact, his paedophile buddy helped him garner major jobs. When Terrett met Savile, a friendship straight from the deepest depths of hell began. Terrett became Savile's assistant, chauffeur, and support DJ. They were practically bent over backwards for each other. When Terrett gained independence, they still kept their close-knit bond with each other. After he left the bromance partnership with Savile, he joined Radio Caroline in 1967. He seemed to have jumped ship from Radio Caroline and briefly worked at Piccadilly Radio in Manchester and Signal Radio in Stoke-on-Trent. His career crumbled in 1999 when he was convicted of unlawful sex with a 15-year-old girl. It further nosedived when he was arrested in connection with historic rape allegations against 3 children in the 60s and 70s. One reportedly involved Savile, and the other included 2 other perpetrators, William Harper and Alan Ledger. In December 2014, he was found guilty of 7 rapes and 11 indecent assaults, although he was acquitted of the charge of assisting a rape committed by Savile. Terrett was sentenced to 25 years in prison. He was 73 when he was arrested, so it was basically a life sentence. He died in prison on the 5th of May 2021. Mark Page was a man of many life skills, a football stadium announcer, a radio presenter at the BBC, and an army news station founder/owner. Page had a very successful career in the 80s, especially between 83 and 87, when he hosted the weekend breakfast show on BBC Radio 1. He began his radio journey at the young age of 17 in 1975. At just 17, he began at BBC Radio Cleveland, where he then hosted the breakfast show on Radio Tees in Teesside between 1978 to 1983, when he left Radio Teesside for BBC Radio 1. He hosted Mark Page on BBC Radio 1, and also presented Friday afternoons on the station. By 1987, he jumped from the BBC ship and joined independent stations on different stations like Clyde FM in Glasgow and Air FM in Leeds. He won awards both domestically and internationally. In 2001, he formed the Army radio station Garrison FM, where he presented until it was bought out in 2013. He was also the stadium announcer for Middlesbrough FC for 20 years. His notability instantly drained in 2021, when it was announced that he would be appearing in court for attempting to incite an underage girl to engage in sexual acts and arranging or facilitating sexual exploitation of girls in the Philippines. Page, aged 63, was found guilty of the charges at Teesside Crown Court in March 2022. His initial sentence was 12 years, but later changed to 18 years due to the belief that the judge was too lenient. Like Terrett, this man was a friend of Savile, worked on Radio Caroline and BBC Radio 1 alongside them, being conjoined to Savile. Now this man is officially named Michael Willis, but changed his name to David Evans, but he was known professionally as Steve Marike. I'll be referring to him as Willis from now on. Before we start, I'll show a recording of him with the T-Rex frontman, Mark Bolan.
Hello and welcome back to Pop Quest. The music that you hear behind me, of course, will give away the name of our artist, guest artist this week. And if I tell you it's called New York City, I know you'll give a warm Pop Quest welcome to Mark Bolan. I might well say at this point he's threatened to do the most outrageous things to me here through. So if you see anything disappearing, you'll know that Mark has whipped something away. Mark, I suppose really the first question...
Hi, Steve.
Hello, Mark.
How you doing?
Do you like that?
Congratulations on the first show, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I must admit I'm getting into it slowly but surely. But the first question I must ask you is that you're a writer and a producer and a businessman, and you've also got your own record label. Which of these do you like working at best?
I think making records is the thing I do enjoy the most, you know. It's the nicest thing to actually write a song or do something and be able to give it to other people so they can enjoy that. So that, for me, is the most exciting thing.
Now, how do you get on as a businessman? Are you very hard? Like
I'm not a businessman, you know. I'm still a little kid. I don't know. I just do what I want to do and hope it works out, you know.
Well, that's the best way of getting out of it.
I cheat a lot as well, you know.
I think. If you hadn't have gone into the pop business, what do you think you would have been?
I used to wash up in a wimpy bar, so I mean, I might be still doing that. I wouldn't know. I can't do anything else.
Well, we'll wash up together then, I think. Two questions now from our team, and I think first it's Rosemary who's going to ask Mark a question.
Yeah. Have you any plans to make another film?
Yeah, I'm in fact going to be making one in about 3 months' time, and I play a murderer in it. So watch out, I'll get one. Nasty fun.
With David Niven, I understand.
I think so, yeah.
With David Niven, yeah. Martine, what's your question?
I understand that you've travelled over 5,000 miles with T-Rex over the last 2 years. Do you ever get tried with all the travelling?
Yeah, I think it was probably more than that. Yeah, I do. I don't like aeroplanes, you know, and when you go to Japan, it's 36 hours in the air. So it gets very boring. I'm lazy. I don't like working anyway, you know, so no, I don't like travelling. Don't like it.
I think you're the same as I. Martine and Rosemary, thank you very much indeed. Very lazy. Thank you indeed for asking your questions. We'll be seeing Mark a little later on in the programme when he gives away a copy of his new album to the winning team, whoever that may be. And back we go to the points.
Willis was a man of multiple abilities. A politician, a DJ, a former member of the Royal Air Force television presenter, a school governor and a lecturer at many universities. He began his career in the Royal Air Force, although his rank is currently unknown. He soon left the RAF for radio, where he joined BBC Radio 1 and then Radio Caroline. Like Tarrant, he then took the Savile route, moving from radio to television, where he hosted a show about music named Pop Quest, which is where the Mark Bolan interview came from. Then he became a lecturer at Nottingham Trent University and New College Nottingham, which is disturbing looking back, and then his final role. A Lib Dem MP for Loughborough, although he gained 10,000 votes. He lost to Tory candidate Nicky Wilson. He was arrested for the first time in 2013 for possession of child sexual abuse material, but soon he was freed. He then began living on his yacht in Plymouth until August 2017, when his yacht was raided. Over 500,000 photos were found on tons of devices. Yet a fucking again. He got a slap on the wrist, Victor Salva style. He only got 18 months in prison from February 2020 to August 2021. His name slowly faded from the headlines until bang. His name was back in the headlines, although not for a serious reason. In December 2024, he was reported missing. The police reportedly searched for him, but nothing rose up from the search. That was until January 2025, when his body was found in the River Dart in Devon. It is unknown whether it was an accident or him taking his own life. This next entry is the most recent, occurring this month as of the editing of this video in February. He has been charged with it, and he hasn't denied everything, so yeah, let's just get into it. Brian Shuttlewood worked for the BBC as a radio presenter for BBC Radio Leicester between 1978 and 1995, where he hosted rock and roll shows under the moniker of the Big Popper. Shuttlewood, as the Big Popper, hosted shows like The Rocker Returns and the Brian Shuttlewood Music Programme, which was heard across multiple regions. It was heard from Lincoln to Derby to Nottingham. After almost 2 decades of work at the BBC, he left. Shuttlewood was originally supposed to appear in court on the 6th of January 2026, but due to illness and failing health, it was changed to a current unknown date. He was charged with 30 counts of sexual abuse, multiple counts of indecent assault, rape, gross indecency and child cruelty. Shuttlewood has denied some of the allegations, but not all. Some of the assaults were before he joined the BBC. All I can say for this guy is, fuck you, you sick fucker. Goodbye, guys. So that was the video. Sorry it's taken almost 4 months for another video. Life is currently chaotic as hell, but I managed to snag a week out of it, so I decided to make a video, so here we are now. This video has been in production limbo for like a year now, so I'm glad to get it off the ground. Anyways, until the next video, stay safe, love you guys, see you later, peace.